Ho, 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 Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah. What else are we missing, Krill? Happy everything. Merry Unbelievableness. How about that? That's a new one. And what a big shout out to everybody on the Prosperity and Health Alliance. I'm joined here by my good buddy and world traveler, Krill Hutchinson, 68222. How's it going, bro?
It's going great. Yeah, happy to be on board, concluding out another year of Enagic and all the magic that's happened, and getting ready for myself to like relax for a few weeks, enjoy the solstice, enjoy family time, recharge the batteries, and then kick it off in 2017. So I'm super happy to be here. Looking forward to hearing the updates and your experience at GoPro, and just so blessed and grateful for the whole team and all the activity that got us to this point so far.
Yeah, it's been great, and we were so happy with all the people that did get to make it to GoPro and connect down there. It was fun. We had a great time at the Win. We'll be doing that all again next year in GoPro Las Vegas, and I think for the Australian teams that are growing, we're looking at going to GoPro down there. If you haven't gone to GoPro, definitely don't miss it next year, and if you can, go get the download. The download in some ways might even be better for some people who haven't gone it, simply because there was 20,000 people at the event. So the back row was so far back you couldn't even see the people on the stage. And I mean, it was like a long ways to the stage. It was really, really amazing. And it's neat to show how the industry is growing. And I've got some notes that I made from the event. And I believe once I've edited them a little bit, I'm going to actually turn these out on the PH Alliance as my Christmas gift to everybody on the thing to go through it. And there's just some real nuggets of gold in here. And I'm going to cut through that and go through the highlights. I would also like to, before I start, to reach out and say, you know, it's the Christmas holidays. You know, sometimes we get so hung up in our business, we get so on the work mode, we get so on those things. Recognize that this is the time to celebrate. It's the time to spend with family. I'm here in New Brunswick with my family, which I do every year, and I'm grateful that the Enagic business allows me to do that. And I would like for you guys to take time to enjoy your holidays without stressing out, and also to think about how do you want your 2017 to look. And at the very end of this, I'm going to go through Eric Worre's 27, how to make 27 the next year, so that your Christmas next year is as good as the Christmas we're having. I'm so grateful. I got to say, I mean, you know, we qualified for 2-3 thanks to the efforts of the team. You can't get to 2-3 without a team. You just can't. It's not possible. This is a collective effort, and I can say, you guys know about the bonuses, what the advertised ones and whatever. What I will say is, it's way better. There's more money than is advertised. It's phenomenal, and the gratitude that I feel, it was worth all the effort. It was worth all the no's. It was worth the pain. It was learning the skills. And if I have one Christmas message, is for you out there listening tonight, so you could feel the feeling that I'm feeling, and that Siha is feeling, and Krill's really, like, I wish you could feel this and have this experience. And you will have it if you do the work. If you get down there, roll up your sleeves, learn the skills, take the action, set the vision, and don't take anything else for no. So with that, I'm going to go back now. For those of you who don't know what GoPro is an event by Eric Worre. He does Network Marketing Pro. You can check out his stuff everywhere. He's probably the best trainer in all of the MLM network marketing business, social selling, whatever you want to call it. And he's really legitimized and made the industry really professional. This isn't the pills, potions, lotions, soapbox salesman from 1972. This is a legitimate industry. It's a growing industry. We're probably going to climb over $200 billion in sales this year. And I'm going to give you a topic. I can't even hold it. It's later in the thing. I want to give this topic, especially to the young people, the 18 to 34-year-olds, the millennials. Statistic of the entire webinar that even Eric was blown away by. And that was 7 out of 10 people who are joining network marketing businesses are millennials. They're 18 to 34. This is the biggest group in human history. It's bigger than the baby boomers. There's more millennials than the baby boomers, and they're all connected via this. So think about the potential, think about the future. The corporation program is kind of dead, and the new thing is social selling online, and our industry is perfectly positioned to explode and expand this, and that means your business. And guess what? Every one of these people need water. Every one of these people need to get a business. Every one of these people need to have an income. And they can't go the traditional ways. So entrepreneurship, the rise of the entrepreneur, as Eric talks about, is so hot. And what was amazing is to see these young people coming across the stage and rocking it. So go out there, and if you are a millennial, recognize you're in the right time. It's the right place. The timing is perfect. If you're older than a millennial like me, you want to say, wow, this is exciting. I want to find more millennials on my team, and frankly, we have a lot of millennials who are driving the business, and I love the energy, and I love your enthusiasm. You know who you are out there. I really appreciate you, and I love connecting with you, and we love helping you out. So let's get on to the stuff. I'm going to cover these. I'm going to blow through these highlights. I took 40 pages of notes while I was at the event, so I'll try and get through these. By the way, one of my favorite guys was David Addison. By the way, he worked with a guy by Art Williams. I know that's Krista, one of Krista's favorite guys. I've listened to Art Williams on his tape. And what was really great is he demonstrated you can have your own style. As he said, he was from conventional road, rural route number 2 with an authentic Georgia accent. And he said, you got to be tough, but you can be good. Your attitude and how you think is your activity is what you do. So anyways, he said one of the things he said, right thinking and right things, do them over and over again. I think that was really, really good. He said, one of the things he said, the most important thing in your business is momentum. And you're either building it or you're losing this. And let's talk about this for a minute. Every business is going to have some ups and some downs when you're doing this. And the reality is how you handle that is really going to determine the success of your business. And everything has a natural rhythm and flow. But you want to capitalize on your momentum. And I've had great momentum in my business, and I've had terrible momentum. When I mean great momentum, it's growing, everything's happening. And then I've had those things where it's been slowing down and things aren't working, nothing's happening. I've had both levels over the course of the 9 years. So I'm not immune to it. No one's immune to it. And here you see these multi-million-dollar earners who've been doing this for 30 years. They all talk about it. And recognize you're either building momentum or you're losing it. And it's directly correlated by the activities that you do on a daily basis. If you're not taking activities, if you're not doing money-making activities, if you're not talking or sharing a product, sharing the business, or following up, in a lot of ways, those are the things that drive the business. I mean, you've got to learn the skills, but you've got to get people in front of this. And the only way you're going to get better at it is if you're doing it. So recognize that there's momentum in your skill building, there's momentum in your presentation, and there's momentum in your business. So as you go into 2017, you want to think about taking 90 days and just going hog wild. Put everything aside and put all your effort into this and build some unstoppable momentum. I know this is a strategy that I do. This is a strategy that Siha does. This is a strategy that Romy Verdera, one of the top earners in our company, said that he studied all these gazillion-dollar earners in all these different MLM businesses, and they all attributed their success to an all-out massive action for 90 days at the first of their business. So you could set the first 90 days of this year and be really successful. So let's moving on from David. We went to Eric Worre. I'm going to refer back to Eric at the end again. He talks something about getting mentally tough. You got to be mentally tough if you want to be successful in this business. You are going to experience some no's. You are going to experience some challenges. You are going to experience some real big letdowns. And the bottom line is it takes mental toughness, and this will build mental toughness. You've got to decide. So the thing is, a lot of people, as he said, are still thinking like employees, and you've been trained to think about and do what you're told. In other words, you're brought to school, you're brought into the desk, you're told by an authority when to sit in the desk, when the alarm builds, what the classes do, what the test is, and all that sort of stuff. And so the whole system of training is based on consequences if you're not going to do it. It's like, you know. And the thing is if there isn't a test, are you going to study? If there isn't a repercussion, so the bottom line is most people are driven by pain or the thing of it, and if there's no pain, problem is a lot of times there's not enough pain for people to get motivated. So that's something of it. The other thing is you got to realize that you can't be a victim. No matter what happens in your business, no matter what happens in your business, you can choose to look at it in two ways. You can be a victim of it. Oh, somebody took my client. Oh, that person didn't get it. I'm too old. I'm too young. I don't have the skills. I don't have the money. You can be a victim, right? But you know what? Victims, that's what the news is all looking for. The news is all teaching everybody to be a victim. Who's the biggest victim? But the reality is if you're a victim, you can never be a victor. And you know what? The bottom line is you have to lose your story that's holding you back if you're a victim. If anything that says that you're not in control of your life, you're not in control of the outcome, but you're in control of your actions and you're in control of how you would determine the data or the information. So that's really it's really important. The other thing is he gave a quote from Marcus Aurelius, and Marcus Aurelius at the time of 172 AD was literally the ruler of the known world. And in his books, and you can check out, I like reading Marcus Aurelius, from the great books of the Western world, and he was a very great, interesting thinker. And he said, what stands in the way becomes the way. So what stands in the way becomes the way. And he wrote this in 172 AD, and of course, trying to run the world and all the fighting and war, you can think of what the world was like around that time. It was really, really, really horrible. And let me tell you, it was tough. And he said, whatever the way is, so whatever that obstacle is, whatever the resistance is, whatever's coming up, you have a way to choose and interpret that data in a different way. What's up to us? Here's the thing. There's a lot of things that we can't control, but here is what is up to us. Number one, our emotions. How we manage our emotions. Are we going to let it blow us out forever, or are we going to experience it, accept it, and move on? Another thing, judgments. Our judgments. If we're judging people, the reality is you're failing to love them. And this is one, for example, that I really work on, is not to be judgmental. It's very difficult for me, and I have to. Oftentimes I'll say the judgment, and then I'll go, okay, well, that wasn't really true. That's my perspective, and then I go back. So that's the thing. Our creativity. One of the things that you're not limited by is you can be creative in this business. You can do things your way. The other thing that you can choose is your attitude. What's your attitude like? Honestly, are you doing things that keep your attitude up? Are you being positive in the face of adversity? The other thing we can control is our perspective, our desires, right? Nobody can take that from you. Our decisions. Here's the thing. Nobody can make a decision for us. And finally, our determination. If there's one thing that you can get is to get determined about your business. If you're determined, if you decide, if you make a decision, a strong decision, that you're going to do something, there's nothing that can stop you. Not in this industry, not in this business. I mean, maybe you won't go out and become center in the NBA, but I'll tell you what, there's not anybody that comes into this business that can't be a success. The skills are simple and they're learnable by just about anyone. And you can become truly, truly amazing. Moving on, there was another speaker, Mel Robbins. I thought this was maybe one of the most practical talks, and she had a talk, you can check it out, it's on metacognition, tricks out smart your brain, I'll have this in the notes. She talked about the 5-second rule. And the 5-second rule works like this. When you have those things when you're nervous or you don't want to go talk to someone or you feel that you don't want to go do the work you need to do or whatever, she has a 5-second rule that's called change, courage, control. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And just go do it. You see that person that you want to talk to, and you don't know if they're going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go over and talk to them. You look at that, you're supposed to get on the webinar and you don't feel like the hockey game's on and that sort of stuff. You go, no, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. I don't feel like getting up early in this morning and doing that extra study before I go to work. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So you do this for the things you know that you should do and the things that you need to do. This is what you do. So it also really helps people who are feeling overwhelmed by things. Have anxiety. A lot of people have anxiety and stuff like this. And the bottom line is, they did a study on Cornell University did a study on 1,200 people who were about to die, and what the advice from all of these people were the same, and it said, stop worrying so much. Stop worrying so much. Isn't that something? 1,200 people on their deathbed. What did they say? Stop worrying so much. Wow, pretty amazing. All right, so let's talk about. Let me take a drink here. Jeff Roberti, who's made, what do they call him, the 100 Million Man or something like that. He's made a lot of money in another organization. And he said, it comes down to a great work ethic. And he says, would you follow your work ethic, and do you inspire people? That was one of his things. The other thing was, he says, you want to compress the time on painful emotions. You feel it, you get it, and then you move on. You don't dwell on those things. It doesn't help you. It kind of goes back to that victim and spiritual life, or that attitude. He also had a big thing on spirituality and stuff, and he said, lighten up and your sails will brighten up. It's real easy to get beat up there when you're starting out and going through this, or maybe even you're hit a plateau in your business. And, the bottom line is, people who are unable to motivate themselves are destined to a life of mediocrity. And, that's what's coming out there. So there you go. Let's talk about, next thing was Eric Worre talked about. He had brought a social media panel out there. And for social media, the advice is really pick one. Pick one. Facebook is king. YouTube is pretty strong because it's the largest search engine. Those are the two ones that they said. The biggest mistake people have is they spam people. In other words, it's all about the product. It's all about the company. It's all about that. And it's not a thoughtful discourse. So you want to mix it up on your site. Yeah, maybe you want to talk about your company every now and then. But maybe you want to talk about what motivates you. Maybe you want to talk about the things that impress you. Maybe you want to talk about stories. You want to have lots and lots of stories and make them, that's what you're passionate about. You want to share that. You want to be bold and you want to be authentic. Don't try to be someone else. Be yourself. The other thing is a lot of people, kind of get in the idea that, they want to make a universal network marketing video. The bottom line is, make sure that people feel your passion. You can use social media to do meetings like Zoom and things like that. I think it's great. I use a lot of my meetings now. I do online, private one-on-one meetings with my team or my distributors. I do them either on Skype. I do them on GoToWebinar, and and I have a great time doing it. It's very, very successful. People are really into that now. But again, it goes down to, is this a money-making activity? You can go into what I call a scroll hole, where you just start scrolling through your social media and Facebook, and all of a sudden an hour and a half's gone by. Has that ever happened to you? Of course it has. Right? And you go, what happened at the time? Remember, you've got to keep this in check. I don't have my Facebook notifications on or anything like that on my advice. And by the way, folks, if you've been trying to call me for the last 2 months, I apologize that I haven't been able to get through. I've been in Bali, and my phone doesn't work here, so it's kind of neat. The only way you can get a hold of me now is email or Skype. So sorry, but it's been great because I've actually had some of the most productive months ever without social media, and I'm using social media, but I'm producing on social media. I'm not using it so much. Some more things to talk about. Wow, by the way, I'm telling you, we talked about so much on this, and we're going to get to your questions if you have questions at the end. We're so excited to have you on here. Here's why people say no. People say no. This is from, this is from Jane Leach. And she talked about this: rejection, ridicule, people opinions, failure. People, every one of these successful people had a moment where they felt like walking away. They felt like quitting. They felt that they didn't realize. And then she realized that other people's negative opinions weren't going to pay her bills, wasn't going to provide for her family, and they were really stealing their dreams. So the bottom line is, she talked about, when you turn those no's into yeses, it's all about conversations and communication, right? You really want to show an interest in people. And to give you a number, give you an idea what it took for her to be successful, her first year contacts, 1,582 people. Her second contact was 502. Her one-to-one meetings were 165. 33 people joined her business, and she mentored 6 people to success. Now keep in mind, she makes well over $1 million a year in this industry simply because she was willing to talk to 1,600 people to end up mentoring 6 successful people. And she says you need to know your stats. Know how many people you contact. And I know Creel is amazing at this. Siha is amazing at this, and knowing the numbers and getting the numbers down. And they've influenced me to know my numbers. So it's been great. The other thing is Jordan Adler. Everyone's probably heard of him. He's on there. He says, if bottom line is if an 8-year-old can't do it, you probably shouldn't teach it. He says the 2 things that made differences for him was dream stretching and untethering himself. So in other words, stretching his dreams and make something that really inspired him, a really compelling vision, and seeing this. So I thought that was pretty good. And he also believed in the circle of success. So, the circle of success goes like this. It starts with a names list. The next thing, it goes to you got to start prospecting. And 3, you got to schedule a meeting. 4, you got to present. The other thing is tell people how long you're going to speak. So I probably should have done that at the front of this webinar. We're probably going to go another 20 minutes or so before we go to the questions. If we manage that, that'll be amazing. But when you're doing your presentation, people have a shorter attention span. When we started off, we was going way too long, 2-3 hours. Now we get it down within an hour. So tell people beforehand, and that really relieves people in the meeting. The other thing is ask for the sale at the end of the presentation. I know one of the great things is just bring out the sheets and put them out there, and you don't have to say anything. So let's get started. And it's surprising how many people actually do that. And a lot of people just don't ask for the sale. Go crazy and duplicate. So let's talk about Eric Worre. Again, we'll go back to Eric. He's talking to the millennials. Remember, 7 out of 10 people in network marketing are between the ages of 19 and 35. The millennials are the biggest group. We talked about it at the front. I noticed we have some more attendees tonight. So hi, guys. We'll get to your questions at the end. 7 out of 10 people. 7 out of 10 people. That means the biggest wave in the industry history is coming now. So the interesting thing is millennials, they actually like to hustle when they're inspired. They've seen the last few generations defined by the cubicle. This generation says, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing what my parents said. They have less skepticism, which is kind of interesting. The other thing is the barriers to entrepreneurship. We shatter that, and we have an opportunity that millennials can really be successful in. So I think that's really exciting. And I think being an entrepreneur now is sexy, and it's really sexy into that age group. In fact, I have a lot of friends in that age group, and what I find is you go on their Facebooks, you go on things, and they're talking about being in business for themselves. They're talking about a mobile lifestyle. They're talking about their products and services and understanding and sharing and making a difference, and it's really, really neat. A couple things, though, you want to do is you need to be intentional about what you say. They're very they can pick up on stuff. The other thing is you need to be excited about the same thing over and over again. You got to get re-excited about the water, about the business, about your opportunity, and you got to talk about it like it's the very first time, no matter if it's the 1,000th time. I'm 9 years in, I'm more excited about the business than I've ever been. I'm so excited about the water. I'm so excited about the machine. I love that we have points of sales and distribution around the planet. I love that the company has hit the greatest sales ever. I love that we've had the largest organization ever. I can't believe how many people are joining on. I got new frontline people that are growing. I've got leaders that are hitting new bonuses. We've got people making tons of money. We've got people getting testimonies and change. It's got to be that kind of energy. And you do that by surrounding yourself with people that are getting momentum and then bringing that energy into your own business. So the other thing is put your character out there. Make sure that you're doing your personal growth, and people love that, your integrity, your humility, your parents, your friends, they love those stories. Very, very, very good. And the thing is this. Here's some 3 questions you want to think about. You can write these down. If you're not going to make it in network marketing, what else are you going to do? Honestly, what else are you going to do? What other business and opportunity you got down the pipe? And how much is that going to cost you in time, in effort, in energy, in effort, and what's the results? You don't know. And the other question is, if not now, then when? If you're not going to do this now, if 2017 isn't going to be your best year, when is it going to be it? When is it going to be it? Ask yourself that question and be honest. Like, isn't it time? Isn't it time that you embrace the success that you deserve? Isn't it time that you said, this is my time. This is the time I'm going to push past it. This time I'm going to push everything aside and I'm going to make that next rank. I'm going to make that next income. I'm going to learn that skill. Because if it's not going to be you, then who? Honestly, who is going to do this in your life? Are you looking to your spouse? Are you looking to your family? Are you looking to, like, who's going to do this? A lot of people get into this industry and they think that they're going to sponsor the superstar. No, be the superstar. When you be the superstar, you will attract superstars. Superstars don't want to hang around people who aren't going to do it. People can smell, and that's, I think, where the industry gets a bad name, is a lot of people who are not really ready to do the work. They're looking out there and people can kind of feel, oh, if I can just get that person, then my business will explode. There's a simple way to kind of break this down. You make 2 commitments to yourself. 2 commitments. I'm going to ask you to make 2 commitments to yourself if you really want this. And that is, never let someone outwork you and never let someone outlast you. Those are the 2 things that Eric Worre said. And I think it's great advice. If, anybody can do this business and learn the skills. And if you don't quit and not just hanging out and saying, I'm never going to quit, well, that's a fine thing. But are you going to outwork everybody else? If you have those 2 things, that you're never going to quit and you're not going to let anyone else outwork yourself, you will make millions of dollars in this business. I'm clear on that. It's just a matter of doing it. And sometimes when you make that commitment, it's amazing how the universe changes. Let's just see, who else we got? We got Haley Hobson here. She was really interesting. She's built an amazing business. I think she's one of the top 200 earners in a year. These are real heavyweights here, guys. She says, build confidence with kindness. She grew up in a loud family and were very loud, the loudest and most aggressive, you didn't get hurt. But she learned how to change, and she had a lot of problems because of that, but she learned how to change and she learned how to communicate differently. And, just reaching out to people. And she said that communication is the key. 5 qualities you want to have in a leader is to be confident, capable, committed, coachable, and good communications. And I will send this out to you guys. So, hopefully you'll be able to interpret the data. I didn't write it. I had to actually type it, so you'll get safe. There's a couple things. There was one guy up here. He was amazing. Tom Chanel. He was very, very funny. And, he thought, when it comes to the fear, he says, you fight through the fear no matter what. And he says, we fight back with love. A lot of people pick on the industry, things like that. He says, but you can do it. And you fight back with love. You fight back with kindness. It was really, really, really great. I'm going to scroll down through here. Richard Branson spoke, of course, probably the coolest billionaire on the planet. Richard Branson runs Virgin Air for and traveled all around the world, faced his death many times. He says, entrepreneurs improve people's lives. 90% of his time right now is spent on humanitarian and non-for-profit options. And he says, you got to pick yourself up when you fail and take action in the face of fear. That was one of his things. He really talked about being good with people, surrounding yourself, embrace the people around you, genuinely care about people, and don't criticize people. He was amazing. He seldom criticizes people. And in fact, just a really remarkable, very emotionally aware person, I would say. Very, very interesting. So, pretty interesting, tough. He says, the only reason to do something is to do better than somebody else. So if you're going to do this business, do it the best that you can. Be better. Be better than what you're going to do, or be better than what you were last year. Gloria Mayfield Banks. She was just a world-class presenter. She talked about the attitude of being entitled, saying, you know what, I deserve this. I believe in myself. And she's really into kind of getting into a state, and she says she looks for people who know they deserve more. Ask people those questions. This woman was dyslexic. Um, she lost 3 babies. She had 2 children. She was suffering through domestic violence, and she went out and got a Harvard degree. In fact, when she first went to Harvard, she started with a black eye. A pretty inspirational that this industry allowed her to climb out of that situation was very, 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 very challenging. And she broke her things down into 10 things you need to give an organization. Number 1, encouragement. The more you give, the more you receive. 2, use your gifts unapologetically. So if you're good at something, you just be that. If you're a good presenter, do that. If you're a good host, you do that. If you're a good water angel at the party, do that. If you're a good greeter, do that. Whatever you are, use your gift unapologetically. And one of the reasons we've been successful with the Prosperity and Health Alliance is because, we don't expect everybody to be the same. We take the people, your best gifts, and you build a business around your gifts, and you surround yourself with a team that helps everybody else. So you take your position and you take your thing that you're really good at and you keep doing it. The other thing is, she says, shape your thinking. Cut out all the people in your life that aren't serving you. Words shape your thinking like a flower lifts. It says, thinking. A flower lifts your life like a brick is too heavy to carry. Cutting out people in your life that aren't serving. This can be very, very difficult. I have a guy that shares with me, when you're having challenges with people, and they're close to you, you see them less and less, and the people that are uplifting and helping you, or you see them more and more. Everybody, when you're trying to move into the next echelon, always have some crabs biting at your legs. The reality is you got to decide whether you're going to let those people hold you back in their negative ideas, if they're going to hold you back from your dreams. Skills. She says you got to invest in the skills. You got to pay attention. You can't change what you're not willing to acknowledge. Okay? You can't change what you're not willing to acknowledge. So do some hard thinking about your life. The other thing is, what makes you tick? Stop working, start winning, win everything. Stop teaching. To work, teach, or win. And don't expect people to understand. She says you got 3 F's: faith, friends, and faces. And your history, rewrite your story. Your past doesn't determine your future. And this was a theme with a lot of them. And someone else's decision will not dictate your destiny. So your personal growth will give you the idea of entitlement. So I think that was a really, really good one. Let's talk about here. This is very interesting. From Jay Bennett, I'm going to close out here soon. I'm going to get down to your questions tonight. 80% of the people in network marketing are making under $2,500 a year. 15% are making $2,500 to $25,000, and $25,000. There's a lot of people on this call that have probably made more than $2,500 since they've been in the business. That means that you're already in the top 20%. In the top 20%. And by the way, in our industry, the 4A point, you want to shoot. If you're not a 4A, you want to shoot to the 4A, because 85% of the people who make 4A go on to being a 6A. So you want to gun for that. If you made more than $2,500, you're already in the top 15%. And you only got a little ways to go getting that top 5%, and that's when you can really make a great income. So that's extraordinary, extraordinary information. Number 1, you want to use the products, tell people your story over and over and over, talk to people, and use the tools. Makes things go faster. So there's a lot here on the women's panel. I'm not going to get into that one. I know there's probably some ladies out there that would like to get into that, but I would say this. I thought the women really got fired up about halfway in, and it was really great. It was, if you saw the panel, or you can watch it online. Very, very good information, and to understand that how powerful this industry, 80% of women who make over 6 figures a year are doing it in our industry, in the direct sales model. So that was really, really, really solid. I'm going to scroll here. Brian Crothers. Brian Crothers, his big comment was, the best recruiters are the best listeners. So often you can't wait to talk about your product, or Enagic and all this sort of stuff, that you hold back. You start fire hosing people, instead of taking your time and asking questions about that person and finding out what's going on in their lives and how you can be of assistance and you know what could possibly be in it for them. This is going to help you control the conversation and direct it in a way that's going to really, really help you, right? So I think that's really, really important. And who else do we have in there? We've got a few other people. I'm just going to scale through these because I want to get to our questions here tonight. You know, it was really interesting also in here, I'm looking at a lot of people. Most of the people, they didn't have a big background. They didn't have an idea to success. What's really interesting, there was one fella here, his name was Alan Paristar, so you can refer or cite these guys. Again, it'll be in the notes. He had 9 core fundamentals. So I'm hitting a lot to you. But his was associate with people who are and where you want to be, navigate the noise. You don't have to have ESP, you don't have to see the future. Make their success your mission, people in your group. Have an abundance mentality versus a scarcity mentality. That's like if someone doesn't go in your organization or what is it, somebody else's or does whatever, you aren't worried about it. Personal growth, belief those who believe, persuade. You got to have belief in your business. You got to confuse disappointment with this, don't confuse disappointment with disaster. And draw your line. Draw your line in the sand. Say, this what? You know what? This year is going to be my year. So, finally, and I'm going to go into this with the team early in the new year, Eric Worre, and I think he's got a video on this as well. He's your game plan for 27. He says amateurs, what they do is they put together the strategy for January. You want to start your strategy right now. You want to start working on your strategy right now. You want to start taking action. Identify the skills you need to live, right? Okay? You got to make a decision. The biggest thing about this is you got to make a decision. You got to make a decision that this is going to be the year. You got to make a decision that you're going to do whatever it takes. You've got to make a decision that there's going to be no more excuses. You got to make a decision to cut out the things inside of your life. This isn't a dress rehearsal. This is your life. This is, your financial future. It's the future of your family. It's the future of life. If you don't make that decision, what's going to happen? When you decide, it gets easy. You commit to the skills, and that makes you competent and confident. Okay? That's just it. Number one, you got to find people. You got to get better at that skill. And number two, you got to improve your skills every single day. The other thing is ask yourself this question. What are the simple habits that I will engage in for a year? I'm gonna, if you can write these down, and I'm going to share this with you in the document so that you have it. Your associations. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And this may be the hardest decision you're going to make. You'll have to accept you're going to have to live at a lower rate than your potential. Now, I've heard this before, and I'll share with you. I made a conscious decision to do this not too long ago. It was about, let's see, it was about 14 months ago I made that decision in my own life. And I said I really want to explore it. And I went into associations that people were really, really far ahead of me by quite a bit. And that I hung out with those people. And you know what? My income soared higher than it has in any year. And I don't know why, to be honest. People always want to tell you why, but I can tell you what. And part of my associations, what I did is I started listening to Tim Ferriss podcast, and I listened to almost every podcast, probably 90% of his podcasts. And he just interviews the highest, most successful people in the world and decodes it. And what's interesting, just by listening to that every day when I was out walking or when I was doing my cardio or those type of things, those ideas and those thoughts get into your head. So maybe you don't have to hang out with them physically, but instead of hanging out with your friend that's not going to do anything ever again in their whole life and is negative on it, why don't you put on a podcast and go for a walk? What about that? You're hanging around with those people in your mind. Number 5, think bigger. Tony Robbins told Eric Worre that he wasn't thinking big enough. 20,000 people, Tony said to him, you're not thinking big enough. So what percentage of your potential are you living? And that's part of the associations. I think when you're listening to those things, it really gets leverage on you. And here's how you think bigger. You ask yourself more questions. Ask yourself more questions. And ask yourself questions like, how can we? What if I did this? What would be the results? Can I go there? Like, what skills do I need to learn? Kind of empowering questions. These things are really good. There's another thing that you can go to if you did this with somebody. It's called stick.com. And he actually had a woman commit to that if she didn't achieve her goal by January, it was get so many people, I think it was 400 people out to an event in her organization, she was going to have to pay $25,000 to an ex that she didn't like. This is the stick. So you can check out this stick.com, stick.com. It was making a public declaration that losing would be painful so that you would avoid that pain at whatever you do, whatever it takes. So that's how you hold yourself accountable to your dreams. The other thing is, and I would encourage everybody to do this, I did this exercise for myself and it was very enlightening, and that was you got to let go of everything that's holding you back. Make a list, you can do this right now, is what are the things that are holding you back right now? What items are you putting an excuse for? What are they? What emotional things? What mental things? What financial things? What is your environmental things? Okay? What are the things that are holding you back right now? Here's what you're going to have to do. You got to release the pain. Whatever pain that you're feeling inside of yourself with those things that are holding you back, you got to let it go. And sometimes we hold on to the pain because that somehow is a weird associative identity. So you can let go of the pain, you can let go of the story, but if you have a story right now, and I know we all do, we all have these. I'm not immune to this. I had 6 things that I felt that were holding me back, and I addressed them, and I'm going to apply myself moving forward. I started on it already, actually. So what are the list of things that are holding you back right now? Release the pain, and then I want you to create a vision. Create a vision of what you're going to do. Create a vision of what your life is going to look like. Create a positive vision of moving forward and associate it with your business and your business activities and the skill set. And you want to get as clearly as you can possibly make it. You got to get specific. People join your vision. Take control of this. Join the vision. Find out how many people you're going to help. You know, one of the things that was amazing is they had to throw in the cash. They didn't know this about Tony, about Feeding America, or Feeding the World, I guess, and forget the exact company. You can check it out with Tony Robbins' site. And they raised $250,000. Actually, they raised $203,000 just by people donating cash. One even did a quick 2-minute presentation. People put $200,000 in cash to feed people around the world because that's Tony's mission as a gift. When they got to $200,000, Eric Worre gave $50,000 to bring it to $250,000, and they surprised Tony with a $253,000 check on stage to his cause because his goal is to feed 1 billion people. Now, by the way, his organization does 11 meals for $1. I don't even know how they do that. They do 11 meals for $1. But anyways, Tony instantly matched the $250,000 right on stage. So $500,000. And I got to say, the people I know that went in and put some cash in there, when I saw that, there was an amazing feeling that happens. And when you go in there, and so think of how many people are going to help. Think of, you want to build an emotional story for you, and that's one of Tony's drivers. It's a very emotional story. Eric has an emotional story. Figure out that pain that you had in your life and how you want to make a difference, and use that and leverage that into a positive story with your vision. And that's when you can kind of anchor it from your head and put it into your heart. And when your business goes from your head to your heart, then you're unstoppable. You cannot be stopped by any obstacle. So remember, a lot of people have a vision that's the companies or the uplines. And one of the things I want to encourage you as, you know, you know, oftentimes people look up to Creel, myself, and Siha, and they go, well, you know, it's your vision, our vision, and I'm like this. It's not about our vision. It's not about my vision or Creel's vision or Siha's vision. It's not about Mr. Oshiro's vision. And these are beautiful visions, and they're great stuff, and they're part of it. But make the vision your own. Make your story your own. Make the emotional thing anchor to you and lock into this and sink your teeth into it and go for it. We've got all of the pluses of this, right? And you start sharing people, hey, we've got a better way. Here's how we're going to get there. I put a posting on this. I said, hey, you know what? This is what's going on in my business. We've got a better way. I can show you you can have this too. And you know what? I put this on my Facebook page. Someone reached out to me that I did a presentation for 5 years ago. 5 years ago. It might have even been longer than that. It might have been 6 or 7 years ago. And they said, I'm ready to get started. I want a better way. So the reason is, that's why the power of vision and getting out there show that. Get a workout partner, get somebody else to work with this business for you. It's a lot more fun when you're doing it with someone. I think that's really, really important. And with all that, we're going to turn it back to the questions and what you have out there. And I want to just acknowledge everybody here on the call. You know, I feel so grateful to have you all. Maybe Creel can join us. Thank you, Creel. We've got a lot of people on the line tonight. I want to say hi to Anita, Bonnie, and Christopher, and Christy, and Danny. Love you, brother. Doris, and Ernestine, and Gary, and Arena, and Jackie, and Jay, and Jody, and Jody. We've got a couple of Jodys. And we've got Clara, and Marty, and Miriam, and Maureen, and Ursula, and Roger, and Sabine, and Sandy, and Simone. Hi, Simone. And we got Tario, and Trish, and Trish again. We've got a lot of people on this thing, so I want to say hi, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, Happy everything. And if there's anything that you want to reach out and say hi or ask your question, now is the time, because scheduling. We should talk about scheduling in the MEH. Thanks, Tario. All the best to you as well. We see that. Creel, what's our time span? I guess at the first of the year, I think it's January 2nd, will be the Danny D. McCauley Kangen 1 info call. So let me see if we can we type that in there? I'm not sure if I can type. I don't know if my thing's working. Can you put that into Skype? Somebody, for some reason, I'm not able to type. So Kangen 1 info call will be on January 2nd. And our first meeting for the PH Alliance will be on Monday the 12th. Is that right?
No, I think it's the 9th.
Excuse me. I made a mistake, as always. Thank you, Creel. Yeah, Monday the 9th. And I believe Enagic is going to be having a grand opening in Vancouver for the Vancouverites, or the people in the Seattle area, on the 20th, I believe. Is that not right? So hopefully we'll be doing something special around that time. We're working on it right now. We're also going to pick a day for a kickoff for the new year. It's going to be an extended video presentation. Did we pick a date on that yet?
Yeah, I think our first one of the year is going to be on January 9th, and we're going to make it a 2-hour session, and we're going to have it be the real kickoff to 2017. So come prepared to do a little bit of work. It'll be interactive. Wade, Siha, and myself will be here. We might invite some guests on. So we're going to book that as a 2-hour session. So that's January 9th. Spread that amongst your teams. That's going to be like, let's get going, 90 days of action.
And to add to that, we're going to be changing the format a little bit this year in the PH Alliance, because we already have the training system is in place, the videos are in place. So there's the next level of opportunity, and that is if you're a 6A or above, so 6A, 6A2, that sort of thing, please reach out to me at wadelightheart@gmail.com, because we're going to have guest presenters on the call or on the webinar this year. So we've got some team leaders out there that are doing good, and they're growing organizations, and we want you to step up and lead your team. And I can tell you this, it's really, really powerful when you can come on here and share your webinars and have those. So if there's a topic that we haven't covered, there's a topic that you want to get out, you want to share your perspective, you got to realize this is the platform for you. We've created for you, and we would like for you to come out, take the stage. The format's going to be very simple. Either myself, Creel, or C-Hub will host the webinar, and we'll bring you on. You can do your presentation. Kim will be in the background, which will help the go-to webinar stuff. It's simple, it's easy. If I can do it, you can do it, and we'll be here to help you every step of the way. And this is going to be the next level of your online presence, your next level of coaching. And frankly, there's some amazing leaders out here on the PH Alliance. And some of you guys are on the call, and we need you to step up because you don't always want to see our sick, kind of faces and all that sort of stuff. So we want to have some new people, some new blood, and some new presenters. We want to hear your voice. So here's a question for you, Creel, because I think you've done a lot of these. We're doing a booth at our first convention. Any advice? You want to talk about that? I think you're very well prepared in these things.
Yeah, so I've done a number of these, and I've had team members that also do it. So I've got some, kind of a standard vending booth bucket that I kind of bring out, a couple totes. Here's the advice. You're going to speak to a lot of people, and so what your game plan is to have a really snappy bullet points of what this is and what it can do for them. Ask a few specific questions. Get information in cards. You don't want to be doing demos and going into a big, long, winded affair. No, it's got to be really snappy. You want to talk to a lot of people. You want to gather their information so that you can follow up with them correctly. You want to get their phone numbers and their emails written down. Don't be giving out just your card and expecting that to go somewhere. You've got to collect their information. So I'd have a sign-up sheet. Best if you can write it down so that way you'll be able to read it, hopefully. Or get an iPad and have kind of a Google Doc or a spreadsheet that collects the information, really interactive, very easy to do. And then my kind of little tip here would be to have a scorecard. So depending on the conversation, you want to be able to rank this person. I do like a 1 to 5. 1 being they're not interested, 5 being, they're going to buy from me. I give them a score, or maybe it's the opposite way, whatever you would decide, and I focus on the 4s and the 5s. So I'll send an email out, but I'll start calling, and I'll really follow up with those people, the 4s and the 5s. If I get to the 3s, I'll make some calls. The 1s and the 2s, I probably will never call because they just weren't qualified enough. Teach that same scorecard to anyone else who's going to be helping you in your booth. That will just make your follow-up much easier. And then I would have some kind of small pamphlet, not necessarily, or it could be a brochure that's got your information, some basic stuff. I sometimes photocopy a little handbill that I just give out to everybody. I don't give those out right away. I get people's information first, and then I give them something as they're leaving the booth so that they've got something tangible. If you give them something tangible, it's less likely they're going to give you some information, and ultimately that's what you want to do, follow up. Realize they're going to speak to a lot of people at the convention. They're going to get overwhelmed. They're going to deer in headlights after a while. So be really catchy with an upbeat, have fun with it, and it's great training wheels. So if you can bring some of your team members out that are just getting started, it's a great way to have lots of conversations, and by the end of the days you're like, oh, I can just go speak to Kangen Water with anyone. So great learning environment, and have fun.
Very, very good stuff. When I handed out something to them, I'd always have something with a picture on it so they can remember who you are. And the other thing is do your follow-up immediately after. Book your follow-up time. If you wait a day after, it's 50% harder. If you wait 2 days, it's another 50. And by the end of the week, it's gone. The packages are lying all over the place. Your contact information. Just buckle down and do it. It's painful when you set up and you're tired from the weekend and the booze and stuff. Go that extra hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Send out the emails. The emails, by the way, great follow-up emails are all in the PH Alliance. They're well written, they're well done. You just copy, paste, and blast them. So really, really want to do that. And don't send it on a mass email, by the way. Send it on a personal email.
Mhm.
Great stuff. So if we have any other questions on that, so we've got the January 2nd Kangen One Info. January 9th was going to be our kickoff for the PH Alliance. January 20th is the Enagic experience. And of course, for all you guys that don't know, I will be in Vancouver from around the 20th till the end of the month in January, and then I will not be back in Vancouver for a couple of years. So it's the last chance to go for it. I'm moving. We're expanding the business into Central America, and so I'm going to be moving down to Panama. I think we're angling to kind of make the business happy, go down that route. So that's where the next move is going to be for us. We're taking to the next level globally, so we're very excited about that. So for all you folks that are out there, just want to share that with you. I hope to see you in at the Enagic offices on the 20th. I think that would be really awesome. I'd love to give you a hug and wish you a great new year. And of course, we'll still be doing the webinar, so no worries there.
All right. Hey, I just want to add to people too. I want to wish everyone a wonderful holiday season. And for me, what I like to do at this time of year is really kind of look back on the year and review, the plan, do, and review. And then I also look projecting forward into 2017, and I spend some time. We're going to cover this in the on the 9th in the webinar, but come prepared in advance of some personal goals, expectations for yourself. What's your priorities? How committed are you to, changing your life? In what areas? How many hours a week you want to put into this? The more fertilizer that you and composting material that you work with over the next couple of weeks, and bring that into January, I think is really advantageous for setting a great foundation for some big growth and changes. So I really invite everyone to do the work there, which can be a few hours over the next 3 weeks. Really looking forward to seeing you all in the new year. And I also want to give a big shout out to my buddy Wade Lightheart. Wade's been such a wonderful leader and inspiration for all of us. I remember last December we were literally having phone calls and bouncing around this idea of the PH Alliance, and we had different names and what we wanted to do, and it was a concept that we played with and we really enjoyed it. And over this same period, Wade worked his butt off over the Christmas holidays and launched the website January 1st. 2016. So we're a year into this, and it's been fantastic. So I just want to really appreciate Wade and all his efforts, and how he's been such a great leader for all of us. So thanks, Wade, and I wish you a wonderful holiday season back with your family.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate it, and I'm just grateful. I have a lot of gratitude. I think I've got the best team in all of Enagic. You guys are all part of it. I really feel that it's amazing. And to talk about that, we came at that last year, and I realized after the Eric Worre event that we needed a better digital communication and a better digital training, because the organization had gotten so large that I wanted to be able to get out there so that people could feel connected to us. And what was really satisfying, not only did we have our best year ever for, I think, all of us financially, it was amazing, and the team grew more than ever, but when I was at the event this year at Eric Worre, there's a whole bunch of people that came up that I had never met before that had connected in from the PH Alliance. And they felt they knew us, and they did know us. And what was great, we got to meet, and we got to break bread, and we got to have a great time and celebration, and it was so awesome to know that we have this digital medium, and that was the best part. And now that we have a sequentialized training system, like you're right there, you can just do this and go for it. And so I would encourage everybody to go back and do those emails, to check that back out. You can if you want, you can always start a new email address, and you can go back in and sign up to the PH Alliance, and then it's going to come to you again, and you can go through the training again. And you want to encourage your teams for it, because that gives you the foundation. But the most important part is to put your heart into it. None of this would happen without the heart of my team, from Creel and from CHA to go through this. I'll tell you what, I'll tell you a funny story about this, because before we go, funny story was I had hired 3 different people to help me build this PH Alliance last year. And I started back after the prior to the Eric War event, and went to that, and they all failed. And it was the Christmas holidays, and I made a commitment. I made a declaration that come the 1st of January, we were going to have a PH Alliance. And what happened is it's like December 28th, December 29th, and I've made this public commitment. I've got no website. I've got nothing. I know what I want. That was what and I'm telling you this story for yourself. I didn't know how I was going to deliver it. And I'm going, I got 2 days left to do this thing. I went online. I Googled the top 10 website programs. Now, I am not computerly savvy. I'm not computer savvy, as you guys probably know. And I went through the list, and I started going on one of the programs, and I said, okay, I'm just going to try this one. And I read the reviews, and I tried this one, and I got confused, so I scrapped that one. And then I went to the next one, and ended up scrapping that one, and then I went to the next one, and it worked. I got this platform that I could actually use. And so I just started building the website, and this was like in the afternoon, and I literally worked all day, all night, till the sun came up. And I wasn't very good, but I had a site. And then over the next couple of days, I hooked up the components, and then I went over. We started doing the webinars, and then I went over to Creels when we got back, and he helped me lay it out the sequence because he's so good at that. And you know, we contacted CHA, and we said, this is how it's going. Here's what we need to do. We need to show up, do this stuff, and we started doing this thing. So you want to make that big, hairy goal that you don't know how to succeed. You're stronger than you think. You're better than you think. Your greatness lies just behind your fears. I was scared to death to do a website. I felt that I didn't have any aptitude, and I went out and just did it anyways. And it turned out great. I've made more friends. We've had more business, and that wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened if I just said, you know what, failure is not an option. I cannot let our team down. And miracles happen when you have that attitude. So I hope you have a Christmas miracle. I hope you have a 2017. Final thing, if you have questions on how to build out your following year, I'm going to encourage you to reach out to your upline or reach out to one of us, schedule a time where we can help you set your game plan. If 2017 is going to be your year, we want to hear from you. You have our emails on wadelightheart@gmail.com. I'm happy to do that, but I need you to be serious. I'm going to be tough. I'm going to be difficult. I'm going to be hard, and I'm going to coach you up. But don't expect the candy canes and dessert will be away. If I'm going to lay this out, we're going to say that. But if you want to do it, let's do it together. So with that, thanks so much. Creel, want to roll it out? And also, I want to give a special thanks to Kim, who's always in the background. She's been doing it. She just hit 4A, by the way. Big, big thing. She's got lots of momentum in her team. She's got a couple of team builders on there. I want to thank Kimberly, who's in the background, that's always making this work, always putting this up. She's put up all the webinars on the YouTube links that you can get on the PH Line. Without her, this wouldn't have happened. So thank you, Kim. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. You were my best present. And I remember calling you up last year going, I'm dead. Can you help me? And you stepped up and did that. And not only that, you built yourself a fledgling Enagic business. So thank you so much.
And thank you. I appreciate it. Happy holidays to both of you.
All right, guys. So we'll see you. We'll see
Happy
you all
holidays,
next year.
everybody.
Have a great holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And Happy Hanukkah and all that stuff. And we'll see you
Happy solstice.
on the PH Alliance.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.